Hello, welcome to Clash of the Rams, the sports talk show. I'm your host, Jeremy Hayes, and along with me we have Jared Doherty,
Glad to be here.
Ryan Chevy Chevalier.
Drew Brees ruined my fantasy chances in the playoffs. How's your team looking?
I'm sorry for that. Daveson Perez.
Finally, another show.
Yes, and John Fanis.
Great to be back on the show.
All right, guys, are you ready to jump right into it? All right, so our first topic is the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot is out, and I just want to know your opinions on the names that are on it are pretty eye-opening. So, Jared, what do you think?
Barry Bonds,
Yep.
Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens, all these guys, the steroid guys. Now, finally, are they going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? And I don't think so at all. They should not be.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, definitely not. The fact that they use steroids is just, I think it's going to resonate within all of the baseball writers, and the fact that they use steroids it just damages the whole integrity of the game. I feel like, it's good to get them out of there. I don't want to see them there. You got people like Barry Larkin. Barry Larkin is a legend. It's a surprise to me that this is his third time being on the actual ballot, which it's looking like he's going to be on it this year. You have guys like Craig Biggio. You have a plethora of guys that are going to be, in the Hall of Fame and representing the baseball the way it should be, instead of people like Sammy Sosa, who was this like 165 pounds coming into the league, and then all of a sudden you see him grow, looking like a freaking transformer and whatnot, and then it's just bogus. It's like mass production from there. So I'm glad to know that the baseball writers are going to choose in contrast of Sammy Sosa and Roger Clemens, people that damage the sport.
All right, Ryan.
Well, I feel like the ballot, it's not really good for baseball overall, but maybe I'm wondering if they're going to use that ballot to just kind of reject the players on it and then kind of just make a statement. Maybe this whole idea was just to make a statement to the future of the league, saying this is what's going to happen for future players who use steroids, and really lay down the law.
Yeah. All right, John.
I know we've heard a lot about every single player using steroids in that era, but at the same time, no one wants to be the writer to vote those guys in and have their name attached to that ballot. They don't want to have any part of that, so that's probably the biggest reason they're not going to be voted in. Also, another name on that ballot that I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with, Curt Schilling. I feel like while he might not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, we need to look out for him in the next couple of years because he had some of the greatest playoff performances all time, and I don't think anyone's forgetting the bloody sock game.
No. All right. What you said actually is so true, and for people who think that, oh, they should definitely go in, you have to remember it's the writers. That's what it comes down to. These guys, they're putting that's their job. They're writers. They're sports writers. They're putting that on the line to vote in guys who cheated and were accused of cheating. So it's just interesting to see if they're willing to actually do that.
And there are baseball writers that are actually thinking about voting in Roger Clemens and Sammy Sosa.
Oh.
And I challenge those writers to ask themselves this. Why is it that they use steroids? I mean, it is a business at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, these guys want to get paid max dollars to do what they do. And not only monetary, they want legendary status in the sport. And the fact that Roger Clemens has 7 Cy Youngs is great, but the fact that he cheated and he most likely would have only had 2 Cy Youngs, if that, I just challenge those sports writers, to ask themselves that. Like, why is it that they've gotten to the point to where they are?
Yeah.
Well, they probably didn't think they were going to get caught. I mean, there
Yeah.
was during an era where baseball guys were doing it constantly and no one knew about it. But now we're aware of this, and now we hopefully can shut it down for our future because it's dangerous for athletes, and it's just would be a good message
Yeah,
to
it's
send
the
out
sport.
to
Yep.
the
And
league.
it just eliminates, the cloud of doubt that we have in baseball. Because a guy can't have a stellar game without you questioning, like, the year before that guy batted like 150.
David Ortiz.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Exactly, David
Exactly.
Ortiz. Everyone's like, David Ortiz is awesome. Everyone loves David Ortiz. Then they find out, like, who wasn't thinking that he did steroids from what he did in Minnesota, then he comes to Boston with Manny Ramirez now, and then just all of a sudden all his numbers just increase like that.
And when he finally gets caught,
And
everybody's
people
like,
act shocked.
Whoa.
People were shocked when they found out that he did steroids. It's like, I was sitting there, I was like, obviously. Everyone. my problem with this is with the steroid thing. The writers who are going to vote these people in, I hope they don't just look at numbers, because I know there's people out there that say these people that do steroids, they still hit, like Barry Bonds, still hit 70 home runs. They still can hit a Major League Baseball. Like, they have that skill. My problem with that, when people say, like, oh, they can still do that, like, it's a very tough thing to do, obviously. We all can't do that. We can't go hit a Major League fastball. There's people out there that say, well, they still can do it. Like, they're still good at this. My problem with that is, if you're in the Major League Baseball, you know how to do that. You have that skill mastered. It's just these steroids boosted up their ability to do everything, and that's the problem. They can still do this, but then the steroids is just cheating and just made them that better, and that's the problem with that.
You know, a lot of people, I like what you just said, a lot of people use that argument about players and how they use steroids, and it's not just the steroids, it's just they put in hours and hours of dedication and mastering their swing and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, the steroids just, it taints that.
cheating.
You're
cheating.
You're basically finding an excuse for something that's illegal.
I cheated,
Exactly.
but I was really good at
Exactly.
cheating.
Yeah,
That's
what I mean?
basically
It's
what
like
it
they
is.
all can hit a fastball. Everyone in MLB knows how to do that. It's just the steroids made them get those 70 home runs, those
Yeah.
60 home runs.
Exactly.
That's what improved it all, and that's the problem.
All right, hey, we gotta move on to the next topic, which I know that was a good segment. Our next topic is the BCS championship, which we gotta wait for a month, but still, it's gonna be Notre Dame, Alabama, and John. What do you think about it?
Being the draftnik that I am, watching for NFL draft prospects, today in the BCS championship game is a great chance for Manti Te'o to make his case to be the #1 overall pick.
Wow.
I feel with Matt Barkley and Geno Smith struggling throughout the season, sometimes having big games like Geno Smith's game, Manti Te'o has a chance to become one of the first defensive players in a very long time to be drafted first overall. Also, I feel that Notre Dame is sort of overrated for this game. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same opinion. I feel that Alabama, after the gauntlet of teams they've had to face, is going to come in and completely crush them.
Wow.
I disagree on your last point, but I agree with your first point about Manti Te'o. So Manti Te'o is great. I mean, he has great story. This guy's motivated. I mean, he's a team leader. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Notre Dame. They're undefeated, based on their actual play. It doesn't matter how weak their schedule is. They got to 12-0, and they beat some more or less formidable teams along the way, like Stanford and those teams. So I think that's one of the keys, whether or not Notre Dame's defense and Manti Te'o helps lead that defense to a victory. I also think it's going to be a close game with Alabama's defense. I'm looking forward to the game, just because of the magnitude of it, and I'm looking forward to see the defense battle it out.
Yeah, it'll be good. And just to say that these are two huge colleges, and I feel like I'm the only one that thinks Notre Dame is actually a little more balanced than Alabama. I think Alabama, because they're in the SEC, I do have a feeling that
There's more exposure to them.
It might be one-sided. But I really do think that Notre Dame has a shot at this. And like John said, if you're an NFL draft fan, this is like your dream come true. You have Te'o, you have Warmack. Yeah, it's just you have like top 10 picks just on the field at the same time. It's going to be good, right?
Well, let's not forget that Notre Dame has a higher seed right now than Alabama, but Alabama's shown their dominance through the years, and probably the biggest key to this game will be, can Notre Dame stop the run? Alabama had 350 rushing yards against Georgia, and also, can Notre Dame get in the end zone? Because that defense is going to need help from the offense to win this ball game.
Definitely.
I just want to touch upon what you guys have already said, that Alabama's schedule is actually pretty tough. They are in a very tough division, and they face actual tough opponents. Notre Dame, it's not the case. I believe that their schedule is not that strong at all. So that's why you got to look at Alabama. If they're when they face it, like Alabama's already faced the tough teams. They've already proved who they are. Notre Dame has not done that yet. Still, it'll be interesting to see how it goes when they collide, but I'm going to go Alabama.
That's one thing I also want to mention, what Ryan said. There's no one questioning, can Alabama do this against Notre Dame? Can Alabama Every question is, can Notre Dame move the ball? Can Notre Dame stop teams when it really counts? That's why I think Alabama's going to crush them. No one has any faith in Notre Dame, but anyone that backs up Alabama has a lot of faith in their decision.
But then how again, I ask you this, how is expectations for Notre Dame against USC? Everybody counting them out. I mean, they are the black horse of the
dark horse.
The BCS, the dark horse of the USC. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, USC. The
NCAA.
BCS.
Yeah, BCS.
Got all my letters mixed up, but they're the dark horse of
Yeah.
the BCS, and you can't really count them out. I mean, like I said before, man, Teo and the Notre Dame defense and offense is motivated. The entire team is motivated.
But I ask you this: where is USC now?
Not in BCS championship game.
No, they're not even ranked.
Exactly. I mean,
So it shows that USC wasn't the real team coming in, but Alabama has proven themselves. They're number 2 on this spot and have only been beaten by Johnny Football.
you think Notre Dame has chosen themselves?
The debate's coming later, guys. We gotta move on to the next topic, though. And next topic, we're going to the NFL, and Mark Sanchez has taken a trip to the bench last night. So I want to know what you guys think. What does this mean for the New York Jets, Jared?
Finally. I don't know what Rex Ryan has been thinking this entire season. All the fans want Mark Sanchez gone. Finally, he gets benched, finally. And so it wasn't Tim Tebow, it was Greg McElroy. And so maybe people didn't know who Greg McElroy was at the beginning, but now they do. The guy that actually could lead the Jets to a victory. The guy that's not going to throw 10 interceptions a game because Mark Sanchez sucks. So I don't know.
Being honest.
What has Rex Ryan seen in him? It's finally he's gone.
Ron?
I just feel like I'm so sick of all this Jet hype. Like the Jets, they're out of the playoff race, and it's just typical the way the Jet just manipulates the media.
Yeah.
They're just always getting us involved, the fans, everything, and they're out of this playoff picture. So yeah, Tebow, it's time for Tebow finally because obviously Sanchez got benched. You have to make the move, and they're playing Jacksonville next week.
Tebow
they
back in
love
Jackson.
Tebow in Jacksonville, so we'll see.
I'm going to look directly in this camera, so put me on here. Put me on this camera right here. I just want to apologize on the YouTube television world to the Jets fans for this season. I'm sorry. Mark Sanchez is soft as putty. You see him? You see that?
That's what you were going to say there.
Did you see him bump into that offensive lineman's butt?
The bumble? Yeah.
Yeah, are you serious? Like, you are an embarrassment to the franchise. And I said this earlier in one of the previous shows. I mean, it's definitely time for Tebow.
Oh, man.
I mean, the fans are I just feel bad that they signed him to an extension for as much money as they did.
John, please back me up. I'm hoping you're going to say what I'm going to say, but go ahead.
I'm thinking Sanchez is going to get another shot next
Oh,
week.
no.
Simply because, think about this. What game did Tom Brady, besides the Seahawks, have his worst game against?
The Jets.
Arizona.
Oh.
He had a terrible game against Arizona by his standards. So we know that Arizona's pass D is for real. That wasn't the question coming into the game. So because of that, I believe Mark Sanchez gets another shot, but you have to believe if he doesn't do good against Jacksonville, Tim Tebow, if he's healthy, is going to come in. Greg McElroy wasn't that impressive in his debut against the Cardinals, but
Wide open touchdown.
I mean,
His
Sanchez
touchdown was
wasn't
wide
impressive
open.
either.
Have you,
That's
the argument
right.
about Arizona's defense, though. What do you say for the rest of the season when Mark Sanchez has done terrible? He's not proven anything other than he's terrible. Like Tim Tebow, first of all, I don't know what he's gonna do. We don't is he gonna be good?
You might as well try him
I think
out.
I know what he's going to do.
Is he gonna be good?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Is there anything to lose now? There's nothing to lose if you have Sanchez, McElroy, or Tebow. What is there to lose other than the team's already been terrible? Might as well go with somebody that's not going to throw 3 interceptions
All
every
right.
game.
And
Go
going
ahead.
back on John's point real quick,
Yeah.
Rex Ryan, he already benched
Sanchez.
Sanchez. And so now you have to
You
make
can't
the
go
move
back
with
on
Tebow.
it,
I
maybe.
mean, you don't see coaches switch.
We have to go on, but I just want to let you guys know, because you all know I'm not a fan of Tebow. But the next 4 games, Jacksonville, Tennessee, San Diego. I mean, I don't know what you're going to... They're easy games. If Tebow goes in there and win, he's going to be the starter for next year? I mean, I don't get what you guys are... I think the Jets just need to accept the fact that they're done. I mean, whoever starts, you can't go into next year thinking that's your quarterback. But we got to move on to game time, which should be fun. And this game time is called open-ended. Now, the way this game works is I just ask a simple question. It's an open-ended question statement. It could be a question or a statement. And you guys just give me an athlete that you think it goes with. All right, so right, the first one is most hated team in sports. John?
You gotta go with the Miami Heat. The way those three came together, no one liked it.
No one at all. Daveson?
New York Yankees. Big salaries, drama-filled diva queen players, and just who wants to see the Yankees win, really?
Yeah, I guess that's true, right?
You have to go with the Heat. They have 3 players dominant in the league. They're the team to beat after winning the championship. It's the Heat.
All right, 2 for the Heat. Jared?
You're going to have to go with the Boston Red Sox. Their team build off salaries and then the drama. It's even hard to be a fan if you're not a fan of the Red Sox. It's even harder to become a fan after last season, what they go through. So Boston Red Sox, most hated team.
All right, that was interesting. Just to throw that out there, the Miami Heat would probably be my number 1, so I'd say the Heat would win in this contest. But moving on, next question is most overrated player in sports. Sure.
I'm going to have to go with Michael Vick. Not Tebow or A-Rod. Michael Vick, he has thrown for over 3,000 yards twice. His highest passing touchdowns is 21. He's really just overrated.
Right.
I'm going to have to go with the obvious Alex Rodriguez, who everyone says.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after his steroid stint, you don't see him do he's not putting up any numbers hardly. So.
All right, Daveson?
Eli Manning, he's 16th in passing touchdowns. He's 18th in passing yards with Joe Flacco and Jay Cutler, 2 mediocre quarterbacks also overrated. And he's 20th in passer rating this year, like tied with Jay Cutler as well. So, I mean, terrible.
I'm sure if Mike McMahon was here, he'd have something to say about that.
Those two championships that he has under his name are Patriots mess-ups. Nothing else.
All right, John?
I'm going to have to go with Andrew Bynum. He has the talent to be the 2nd best center in the league, but he has 2 bad knees, and he's not going to play this year. Wasn't worth trading Andre Iguodala.
That's a bad haircut.
That's a very good one, actually. I'd go with the obvious and say Tebow, but I mean, you guys probably would know that without me saying it. All right, the final question is the biggest fall from grace in sports. John?
O.J. Simpson. This was a guy that the Eagles fans booed their team for because they started winning at the end of the season. They wanted that number 1 overall pick, and the way what happened after that, it was tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be Lance Armstrong after the year he had. He lost all his endorsements,
yeah.
all his titles. I mean, can't get any worse than that.
Yeah.
I'd say Barry Bonds, just going on the topic of steroids.
Yeah.
But Barry Bonds, he was hitting 2 home runs a night. Fans loved him in San Francisco, and now he's just looked as an asterisk whenever you see his name.
All right, Jared?
I'm going to have to go with, when you say this guy's name, you just want to sigh that you don't want to hear about him anymore. Roger Clemens.
Oh.
Obviously.
There we go.
Biggest fall from grace right there.
All right, and if I had to say somebody, there are a lot of guys, like everybody that all of you mentioned, but I'd have to go with O.J. Simpson. I think that just the background with that's just all too much. All right, that was game time. Good job, guys. All right, so now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is Suffolk Updates. So we're going to send it over to Alexa and Kim. So go ahead and take it away.
Hi, I'm Alexa Kay.
And I'm Kimberly Perez. The Suffolk men's basketball team has improved to 2-3 with senior Colin Haplin scoring his 1,000th career point.
In women's basketball, the Lady Rams have won 3 games in a row and are 5-2. Suffolk Hockey will host Stonehill in the North End this Wednesday night at 7:25.
Be sure to come out and support the Rams on Wednesday. Now, for pro news, Sports Illustrated selected the NBA MVP LeBron James as Sportsman of the Year.
Also, the Boston Red Sox reportedly signed catcher and first baseman Mike Napoli for 3 years and $39 million. That's all the updates we have for you today. Back to you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you. Now we're going to move on to our Clash of the Rams debate. Today, Daveson and John. You guys almost got into it earlier, so you're both ready, it seems like. All right, so we will be the judges. All right, and here is your question. You're going to have 3 minutes, okay? The question is, who do you side with the whole NBA debacle, Popovich or the commissioner? Go.
Well, I side with the commissioner. I mean, basketball is a business. Let's just get that out of the way. We all know it's a business. You guys play for money. The fact that Popovich didn't give a statement saying that his players were not going to be coming, which we have to do in advance, is a big issue. And if you disobey that on a major game like playing against the Heat, then you're not going to fall in the good graces of the league, the fans, or David Stern. This is his league. The fine is justified. You got to play by the rules. You got to go by the rules. And if the rules state that you have to play in a nationally televised game against one of the top teams in the league, then you got to do it.
This is the problem, though. David Stern needs to come out and say that this was a business decision then, but he can't because that would look bad. What Popovich did is something that he had done against many other teams before, and many other major coaches have done. Phil Jackson has done it, Doc Rivers has done it, and Pop has done it. But when it comes to the Heat, and this is a nationally televised game, then it becomes a problem. He needs to come out and say this was a move made because it was a nationally televised game. And that would be a slap in the face of the smaller markets of the league, which he is trying, which because of the NBA lockout last year, they tried to make a point of emphasis and saying that those
But
were
then
more
again,
important.
if you're David Stern, you got to protect your image. You got to protect the image of the National Basketball League. I mean, if you come out and say, hey, this was a business decision, how do you think it's going to come out with the fans? The fans watched it for entertainment. They don't think about the business side of it. If you come out and say, hey, well, this is a business decision, basketball is a business, you got to play by my rules, how are they going to take that? How are they going to – they're not going to watch any basketball games. They're not going to like David Stern or the way that he's running the league.
The schedule makers should have thought about that before they decided to put this nationally televised game at the end of a road.
So you're telling me you wouldn't want it? You're telling me you wouldn't want to watch the Spurs versus the Heat?
I would
teams
want
that
to
were in the
watch
playoffs
Spurs
last year and
versus
made
the
it
Heat.
fair?
I would want to watch that, but at the same time, Greg Popovich has full ownership of how he wants to coach. With this decision, David Stern basically said, you can't coach like this, no matter what. Because it's a nationally televised game. He needs to go out and say that.
But there are ways of he could have gone about conserving his players. I mean,
they could have changed the schedule then. They could have changed the schedule to
how
make
would
this
they change
game.
the schedule before the season even starts? I mean,
They
there's
need
no
to
way
make
that the
this-
schedule makers
They
would
know
think.
Popovich likes to rest his players at the end of long road trips. This was at the end of a long road trip.
But I don't think the schedule makers have that in mind when they're making the actual schedule.
Well, they need to have that in mind then, and not have the precedent for
So
these
they're going to
fines
stop.
set out.
They're going to stop all basketball operations, and the scheduling team is just going to say, "Hey, we got to pay attention specifically to Popovich." That's what you're
They
saying.
have
Again,
to do that.
That is specifically to
they
the
need
coaching
to know
style
the team's
of Popovich.
tendencies.
So why
they
does it?
can't blame the teams
So why doesn't
for how they
Popovich run the
coach.
league then? Why doesn't just Popovich become?
And time. I'm sorry, guys. Time. All right. Jared, who do you think?
I'm going to have to go with Daveson.
I'm going to have to go with Daveson.
I don't agree with it, but Daveson, I don't agree with your side, but I think you won the debate, surprisingly. That was a good one, though, guys. That was pretty good.
Okay, good debate.
All right, that was really good, actually. We're gonna move on to our final segment, which is
Ram Rants.
Ram Rants.
Rant.
All right, so let's just get started. Jared, take it away.
I saw something that really upset me, and it was, you all know I hate the NBA. I hate basketball. And I saw this Rondo fight, which was him pushing and overreacting. I don't agree with it at all. But my problem was the fans. It was the fans cheering it and liking it and loving it and rooting it on. That's my problem. And if that's the biggest fight the Garden is seeing right now, I think it's an agreement that everyone misses hockey. And there's one thing I saw. There's one thing. Very fast.
All right, very fast.
If Rondo was standing up for his team, watch the clip of the Vancouver game against the Bruins. Sean Thorne getting attacked by 6 guys, and the team jumps off the bench, comes and stands up for him. That's hockey. That's what real fans cheer for.
Whoa. Okay, right.
I'll post the link on the video too.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to give a shout out to my Tantasco Warriors, my high school. They made it to the Super Bowl against Auburn High School, and they had only a 5-6 record, but they were led by Randy Harrington, John Beaudry, and Don Cruz. And it was a great year, and it's probably one of the last years that I'm going to follow my high school football team. I'm getting a little emotional here. But, but guys, great job if you're watching this, and I'm still going to root you guys on next year.
All right. Well, before we go to Daveson, speaking of emotional, I almost forgot, but this Wednesday, December 5th, is our Clash of the Rams birthday. We have been on air on YouTube for a year. So that's a very good accomplishment. So congratulations to you guys. Yeah, it's like clap. All right, go ahead, Daveson.
I didn't get to further explain my point about Eli Manning during the game.
Go back to that.
Eli, like I said before, all the stats and all that junk. He is not on the level of Peyton Manning, his brother. I don't know why anybody's saying that Eli is more elite than Peyton Manning, because nobody is more elite and revolutionary than Peyton Manning ever. He's not in the same class as Ben Roethlisberger. He's not in the same class as Tom Brady. Guys that are actually leaders for their team. His Super Bowl. Let's get to his Super Bowl victory. His Super Bowl victory were both on plays that desired or needed a significant amount of luck. He just threw the pass up there to what's his name?
Cruz.
Not
Cruz
Cruz.
and
Not
Mario
the first time.
Mario Manningham and Plexico.
He just
Burns.
threw it up.
Or
there.
no,
They caught it.
David Tyree. Yeah.
And it was just a fluke. And he is just average at best. The Giants are all about defense and wide receivers.
Okay.
That's it.
Time.
Most revolutionary quarterback is Johnny Unitas, by the way.
I was thinking that I didn't have the guts to say it, but go ahead.
All right, for my rant, I want to talk about how the immaturity of certain NFL players today seems to be incredible. We've had a player sent home, the Detroit Lions have had a player sent home called Titus Young, who lined up purposefully in the wrong spot on the field to sabotage their offense simply because he wasn't getting the ball enough. Also, at the Oakland Raiders, they had their first-round pick, Rolando McClain, tweet that he was done with the city of Oakland, and so many people picked up on that, there were reporters, and said that that was the sign that they released him, but they didn't. So he was also suspended and sent home for conduct detrimental to the team, as was Titus Young. These players haven't established themselves yet. This isn't Terrell Owens. They're not that good. It's annoying, the certain immaturity of players today. It really is.
I just want to say I'm one of those guys that actually reported Rolando McClain being released, and when I heard that he wasn't, it's just, as a reporter of mine, it blows up, like, seriously. All right, well, that was a great episode today, guys. Good job all around. All right, I think that's it, right?
1 year
Yeah,
anniversary.
1 year. 1 year. All right, so that's all from us in Studio 73. We'll see you guys next week.